Welcome back now, and if you're just joining us, you're still onto the press, coming to you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN TV. Right about now, I have Joshua Imarayi in the studio, and we're going to be talking around some of the headlines we have read to you before the break. Welcome to the program, Joshua.
Thank you for having me, Francis.
It's been a week of many in the Nigerian political space, the Nigerian economic space. Everything has been a week of twists and turns. So, let's start on a summary note now. How has it been from your end? The Naira note is gradually finding its way back into the hands of Nigerians, and things seems to be gradually picking up again.
Yeah, I must commend the Nigerian judiciary system for the proactive step they took in ensuring that Nigerians are being delivered from this nightmare that the CBN governor and whoever is responsible for the Naira scarcity has done. Because times without numbers, Nigerians have complained that they are suffering, they are facing severe hardship and pains. And those cries, they've seen that those cries have been falling on deaf ears. But thank God for the judiciary system, that the common hope, the last hope of the common man, has not been trampled upon, and everything made legitimate. They've come to Nigerians' rescue. But I must say this and again, if the entire essence of the Naira redesign was to put Nigerians in penury, then I must say that necessary arrests should be made. And here and now, I am saying the moment the CBN governor finishes his tenure or he's sent out of the CBN, I think that man should be arrested. Because this whole nightmare that was conjured overnight and brought to Nigerians for no just cause. Now, to my chagrin, I am finding it hard to discover that we are going to use this old note till the end of this year. Then what was the essence initially? Was it to punish Nigeria? Was it a political motive? If it is, then I must say that we don't want something of such to happen next time, because it is bad and it made Nigerians apathetic politically, and this is not something we want to continue. So basically, it is a very bad arrangement.
But then this Naira note was the policy was designed to take Nigeria to a cashless economy, like we operate more on the cashless side of things. And if you look at the amount that has been spent on redesigning this Naira, new Naira note, yet we still do not have enough of it. And at the end of the day, now we are back to the old. Notes. At some point, the CBN made Nigerians to believe that the old notes that were recovered had been destroyed. Now the old notes are the old note is finding its way back to the hands of Nigerians. Just like you said, some persons needs to be answering some important questions at this moment now. But now it doesn't seem to be happening. I mean, in what light do you think it will cast the President Muhammadu Buhari's administration on a general note?
I will say this here and now. I have lost faith in any mantra that President Muhammadu Buhari preaches, because his whole mantra of fighting corruption, none of them was delivered. His promises, there were few. I just want to hope that it is the bad eggs surrounding President Muhammadu Buhari that are perpetrating this entire thing in M30, because first things first, now we should look at our banking sector and see how well they've been able to cope up with the cashless policy. Now, are they ready? You would agree with me that Nigerians had a lot of failed transactions as at this span of the cashless policy that they preached. And it was so glaring that Nigerian banks never had the appropriate infrastructure to handle cashless policy. Now, this is a scenario where you go to the market and you make transfer and you go back home and
the money is back to your account.
Basically, and the person you bought something from will be feeling cheated. Now, I am not cheating you. The Nigerian government is cheating you.
Okay, Joshua, just before you proceed, this is to let you viewers at home know now that our phone lines are open. You can now call in to make your contributions. Please do call in and make your contributions in 60 seconds. We'll be waiting for your call. And Joshua, from the Naira, old Naira, new Naira policy and everything, let's delve straight into some political matters. If you look at the political scene in Nigeria for the past few days now, immediately after the February 25 presidential elections, there's something that has been on the lips of most Nigerians, especially for Nigerians that feel aggrieved about the outcome of the presidential election, and it's the interim government, and it's kind of gaining traction day by day. Some days ago, the DSS came out to with a press release that that it had uncovered the names and identities of people behind the plot to install an interim government. What is your take on this? Let's take it up from there, because there have been counter allegations now that some members of the opposition party are saying, replying the DSS, if you have said that there are people that you have uncovered the names and faces of the people behind the plot to install an interim government, then you should name them. We'll be getting to that shortly. But then an interim government in Nigeria today. What's your take on this?
Firstly, I would like to condemn any act of interim government, and whoever is proposing that should be immediately arrested and prosecuted, because the Nigerian constitution has no provision. I've done the search, read, dug out. It has no provision for interim government, and whoever is proposing that is an enemy of the state and should be dealt with precisely and decisively. Because, first of all, I think that they are trying to heat up the polity. When I mean heat up the polity, trying to make the game players uncomfortable before the inauguration of the president-elect, Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Firstly, now, there are actually ways to seek redress. If you are not comfortable with the results put by INEC, and the president-elect approved by INEC, then you will wait. Then the president-elect will be sworn in. Then you rely on the common hope, the hope of the common man.
The last hope of the common man.
The last hope of the common man. And that is the court, the law court. Now, there are steps to do this thing. And if you are saying you don't want to go through tribunal, you don't want to go through court, then please, I feel your analogy should be kept in your pocket, because it is not needed. It is... There is no way you expect that a lot of money has been spent on an election, and at the end of the day, you will tell me that you are not comfortable with INEC bringing their result forward, and you are saying the entire process was sham, and you want an interim government. It does not happen anywhere. Whether you like it or not, there must be a transition. There is a beginning, and there is an end.
There is an end.
Don't expect something in between. There is never anything in between. What we have is the beginning and the end point. And that is how we have it in Nigeria constitution, and nothing is changing it. No one can change it. You cannot come from the comfort of your bedroom and say, we are not comfortable, we want to send out. See, this current moment we are is the very, very wrong time to send out protesters. The moment you send out anybody to protest for your cause, when you have already approached court, because as far as I'm concerned, all political candidates of the just concluded elections, they've approached the law courts. They seek redress. They've served someone and the likes of them. So I don't see any reason why anybody will go out now to bring out protest. It is wrong, and that should not be condoned. No protest should be condoned, because you are trying to give us problems that we cannot solve.
But then the Labour Party has come out to say that they have no hand in any plans to install a an interim government, or they are not part of any arrangement leading to the calls for an interim government. But then we keep seeing protests every day. I mean, today the protest should be getting to the 10th day of continued protest. Now, just before we go ahead, let's take this call. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Okay, I'm Emmanuel. I'm coming from Edo State. It's on the local government precisely.
Emmanuel, please make your contribution.
Yes, my contribution is that aspect of the DSS. If truly you know the people behind that plot, what is resisting you for bringing them before the whole Nigerians to know these are the sabotage? Because billions have been spent in this election. Until now, we are still asking questions and nobody is giving anybody answers. If you feel something which you knew is not right the way the election was being conducted, that is why despite people are saying the court is not the hope for the common man because of the past antecedent with some, I don't know what to call them. They feel that the court is not good enough for them to respect. But some of us, we so much believe and rely on it. If you feel something is fishy, you don't like it, go to court. Today is not the first Nigeria have been contesting or conducting election. This one has come, it must stay. This is a nation. The nation is not meant for one region, whether northerner, southerner, or easterner, but it is a nation that has been established on a base of all the three, whatever the region they share into. One group should not be cooking a story that will bring a war. If they call for war, God will bring their children to die for it. That is what I believe. Because if the DSS, there are many persons have been raising issue, people are planning this, people are planning this, and now the DSS equally confirmed it. What is stopping him to bring these people before the book? Are they too big to be brought to book?
All right, thank you very much, Mr. Emmanuel.
Okay.
Mr. Emmanuel from Edo State has called on the DSS to name those they have alleged to be behind the plot for an interim government. But for intelligence purpose, for security purpose, do you think it is needed to name them publicly, considering the fact that the polity is getting really heated up at the moment?
Firstly, I personally, I think the primary function of the DSS is intelligence gathering. I don't think arrest is one of their jurisdiction. The necessary agencies and the institutions are on standby to make arrests. Now, this questions the fact, for a fact, if the government security institutions are working at par together to ensure things are being done. Because if the DSS knows something of this extent and they have evidence and things to prove that certain person is behind the sabotage of democracy, then information should be put forward to the relevant agencies. So those people would make proactive moves. Now, I don't want to feel the narration is they don't want to they want the person being watched to carry out activity so you'll be nabbed. I don't like that narration. I like a proactive narration that before
not a reactive one. Before this thing was done, this person was arrested. Before he actually did it, because they had more evidence. They should be reactive, they should be proactive, not reactive. Now, on the issue of DSS making arrests, they've made arrests times without number. Mazi Nnamdi Kanu is in their custody. Was it not through intelligence? And they felt he was an enemy of the state, enemy of democracy. Now he is actually being there. He's there now. And even though a law court has said he should be released, he has not been released. Now, if they could do such, what is stopping them from arresting whoever is responsible? A second, let's take this call again. Hello, good morning.
Beautiful morning to you, Mr. Francis, and good morning, Mr. Joshua. You are on to SMB from Kano State.
Thank you very much. Please make your contribution.
Thank you very much. Anyway, I follow up right from the beginning until the NEPA took a life. But let me appreciate Joshua, because I heard this first statement on the issue of interim government. You see, Francis, let me be honest with you. I always say this. For how long shall we remain in this present predicament? When are we going to learn how to build our institutions instead of building individuals? For a country that almost goes for 109 years of amalgamation, by October we are now going to 23 years of interrupted democracy. But yet people were thinking of bringing in or entering government to a country who has all the structure of leadership, starting from the federal level to the state level. What kind of a people are we building? That's the question I want to ask. Where is the patriotism? What benefit are they going to gain on bringing on this issue? That is the questions we need to ask these people. What benefit are they going to gain? When we have election, both on the state level to the federal level, and the law is there, saying that anybody who is not okay with the outcome of the election goes to the court. Who is talking about entering government? Who does that? The more we learn how to deal with people in accordance with their mistakes, the better for this country. That's a very good example. Look at the grand juries of U.S. indicting the former U.S. president. What are we going to? Why are you going to allow people to be intimidating our country? Do you think there is any other country in the world that is going to accommodate 216 million black Nigerians just because of their selfish interest? No any country in the world will accommodate 216 million black people in the name of IDPs. It's better we put this in our thick brain, because this is our country. We don't have any other country than Nigeria, and building a nation, like I always said, is a collective responsibility. So I'm calling on the DSS, on the security agencies, to get these people arrested and prosecute them, and then let things go well.
Thank you very much.
Lastly, please, I want to ask, what is going on with the Startime Hausa version in this, the KAFTAN TV in the Startime Hausa version? Ever since I come back to the country, I cannot be able to get it searching every day. Is there any problem that the Hausa version is not on Startime again?
The Hausa channel is back and fully functional on the Startimes decoder right now. And anyways, before now there were some technical glitches on the channel, but it has been fully resolved.
More than 1 week I've been searching. Even this morning I search. All the stations are available in the Startime, but the Hausa channel is not available. Thank you very much. I don't know. Maybe there is a technical
you can simply check again. The Hausa channel is back and fully functional now.
Thank you, Mr. Francis. I wish you all the best. Thank you very much.
And you too. You're welcome. Do have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
So, a lot has been said, and this is another person calling for the names of those behind the plot for an interim government to be named. Once again, you would have to hold your thought for a second for this call. Hello, good morning.
Hello, good morning, Mr. Francis.
Good morning. Please tell us your name and where you're calling from.
Yeah, I'm Mr. Akim calling from Lagos.
Mr. Akim from Lagos, please make your contributions.
Okay, thank you so much. Let me first comment on the first issue you raised, the issue of monetary policy. That is cashless policy. Yeah, so this issue of cashless policy, to me, you know, even though some are saying it's a nice policy, yes, it's a nice policy, but if you should look at the country in itself, to me, we have been in cashless policy even before now. The reason being that, how how much was even in circulation prior to this moment. And the quantum of money that is being used for business are not more that physical. You understand? So the thing is just that the aim and objective that the tender to us has not been achieved. Instead, they inflicted pain. And I want to portray what your analyst said, that at the end of the tenure of the central bank governor, definitely an issue was raised. He must account, whoever that is responsible for it must account for what happened. I'm still emphasizing on this issue because when Soludo was there, Sanusi was there, these are the one I can account for vividly. Okay? I know how professional they were. I've never had it in my life when you have a CBN governor getting into political contesting for political posts, and not even forgetting that even the material to be used are deposited in the central bank. Actually seeing this as a special issue. So that's one aside. Then the issue of what is going on now about this election. See, like I said yesterday, some people didn't actually celebrate or come out to celebrate the president-elect. Not because they were not happy, but because before even the election ended, we had the politicians, some also were saying that at least winners should be magnanimous. Okay? So, in the process of being magnanimous, shouldn't be seen as if that person is not recognized. Okay? And it's unfortunate, media outlets, whether yourself and the rest, they keep on leaning on that issue. What is important even, what is substance even in that, than whether people celebrate it or not. Just like I analyzed yesterday, it was only Muhammadu Buhari that received the huge celebration when he won the election in 2015, except for Jonathan with light one. Right from 1999, there was no any celebration. That is obnoxious. So the thing is that, I'm sorry, you see Labour Party, they are going out of the way now. That is just the truth of the matter. They are going out of the way. Number one, this issue is in the courts. If you feel like, okay, you have something substantial or something very important, tangible, why can't you tender it? And even some are calling that it should be air. Yes, let us see the procedure. Let it be here. Who is afraid of that? Nobody is afraid of that. If you have something that is tangible, that you feel like you are the one, you are not the third, you are the fourth position that won that election, you tender it before the court of judgment, because we only have one Supreme Court in Nigeria at the end of the day that will decide whether your argument holds water or not. But seeing their petition and all these things, in my own thinking, I feel like probably they think all the tender doesn't hold water, because even from some of the judgment that we are receiving now, that are individuals trying to obstruct the president-elect, some have been thrown out, which is part of what they tender. So definitely they will likely want to...
You have 30 seconds more.
Yes, I was going further, sorry. You understand? So we detest it. We don't like anything interim in Nigeria. And definitely nobody should castigate or criticize the DSS. For them to tell us it's a preparation probably for the arrest. Arresting such kind of people at this moment, you will give them way for what they want, because it will cause crisis.
Thank you very much.
God just help Nigeria. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. A lot has been said about the DSS this morning, but I still want to I put it to you. I still want to ask you, do you think it is imperative for the DSS to name those that has been alleged to be behind the plot for an interim government at this moment?
I think, and basically by the name the entity bears, I think everything is supposed to be done in clandestine manner, that they should be secretive, because this is their primary function, to be secretive, and well as informative to the necessary authorities. Now, if they've gotten this information, it is not theirs to prosecute or to arrest or to do whatsoever. necessary steps should be taken to be given to the necessary authority to pursue the entire thing. But with the opinion of the last caller, I think it opened my mind and my inner eye to the fact that if some arrests are being made now, they will see it as trying to clamp down on opposition. They will feel, but people might feel that the government is trying to use the DSS as an political instrument to clamp down on opposition. And personally, it might seem that way because it is a story sellable to all. But for the purpose of safety, I think the necessary reservations needs to be made. They should be made.
All right. For the purpose of safety, the necessary reservations should be made. But then, the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, and that of the Labour Party, Mr. Peter Obi, they have jointly accused the DSS and saying this is a scheme to get the opposition arrested before the inauguration day. Do you think this allegation holds enough water? Then secondly, the issue, their petitions. They already have their petitions in court. Do you think the perceived silence of the opposition party as regards the unending protests now, do you smell something fishy with it? Because if the Labour Party have come out to say that they do not have anything to do with the protests, they do not have anything to do with the plot for an interim government, then I think, don't you think it's proper for them to put out a press release calling on all their supporters to desist from such act?
It is one thing to say, and it is another to understand body language. Because as now, we are hearing that a protest is ongoing in the United States, that even the United States government gave permission to use the White House Park for the protest. And even of recent, we've not heard of any congratulatory message from the United States to the Nigerian president-elect. It shows the body language. Now that raises the question of the acceptance. Though we don't need the acceptance. We don't need
but then a lot has been said about this international validation of. I mean, we have our own constitution. Nigeria is a sovereign country.
A sovereign state.
Nigeria is a sovereign state, and we have the power. We have the power to choose and decide for ourselves. Now, what? I mean, I want to know the extent of importance this international validation, because a lot has been said, particularly about the United States of America. Now that till now they have not sent congratulatory messages. Now their lack of sending this congratulatory message. Are we expecting some kind of consequences? Are we expecting some kind of implications for it? But before you respond to it, let's take this call again. Hello, good morning.
Good morning.
Please, your name and where you're calling from.
Ugo from Onitsha.
Ugo from Onitsha. Please make your contributions.
Well, I'm happy with your discussion this morning.
Thank you.
Our beloved country, Nigeria. My take is I join my voice with the voice of every other good Nigerian for peace to reign in our country, Nigeria. Well, this is a beloved country God has bequeathed to us, and we need to really join hands together and keep it together. I want to appeal to our politicians, whatever divide, let them accept peace. Let's stick together and know that we will first of all have a country before we have a political party and before we even have leadership. If we get political party, get somebody as elected person, and we don't have a country to govern or to lead, then it's utterly useless. So let's first of all preserve the country. Let's not all manner of I'm not saying people have right to protest, but your right stops. Another person's right starts there. The matter is in the court. Let everybody stop protesting and allow the court to do their work, so that at the end of the day, we continue as a country.
Thank you.
So that's I think.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
They have their petitions in the courts. The protests should stop and let the courts do their job. These were the words of our last caller there. I'll leave the floor to Joshua to make your submissions now.
So, whether you like it or not, international acceptance is worthless. Nigeria is a sovereign state, and all powers, all due powers, has been given to INEC to conduct, and only them have been allowed to announce a winner. Any result whatsoever is considered null and void by the law of the Nigerian government, and that is it. If the President of the United States likes, he should give his congratulatory message. This is not the first time they've looked down on Africans. This is not the second. So we are used to these things. But for a fact, we have a president-elect, and that is Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Any other contradictory statement or verdict will be coming from the Nigerian Supreme Court, Apex Court. That is the highest level that any election case can go. And once a judgment is given there, that is final. And tomorrow, if we wake up and the Apex Court decides to bring him down, that is it. And if he decides to retain him there, that is it. Nobody can do nothing.
All right, now let's discuss some financial matters right now. A headline from the Daily Sun here says new borrowings shoots Nigeria's debt to 46.25 trillion naira. This is coming on the back of a rejected loan, a rejected $22 billion loan from China. What are the implications of this?
One time I heard from a presidential candidate that Nigeria has nowhere to borrow from again or run to. I think that statement was somewhere. I'm trying to figure out the antics of the outgoing government. What are they trying to do? Are you trying to put us in debt? Now, for just a year, Nigeria's debt profile moved from where it is with 6.69 trillion naira. Trillion. No, is it trillion naira? Yes, it is trillion naira. Now, this is just within a year. This is how it grew. That you're trying to sink us into debt. Now, and I find it hard that some agencies come out comfortably and say this is that we are growing very, very, very rich in debt. How? Are we supposed to be going in debt? We are the most populous African country, black nation, and we have enough resources. Now we generate money. Where are this money going to? What are you using the money you are borrowing to do? What are you using them for? Nothing. Nobody can account for anything. And at the end of the day, you come out and say you what? Immediately this government ends, and President Muhammadu Buhari hands over, the necessary authority needs to immediately go into action and start investigating figureheads. And when I mean figurehead, the CBN governor, that one needs to be investigated. The DMO investigated.
Management office.
Budget, all of them investigated. Clem Agba, he should be investigated. All of them, they are all complicit and of making Nigeria going into debt, and they should be questioned and everything should be accounted for.
Yeah, but the question on the lips of most Nigerians now is the fact that this administration will be completing its tenure in less than 2 months from now. Why the $22 billion loan request again? Because the debt, all these monies that have been borrowed now, obviously the incoming administration are going to bear the brunt for it.
Basically, they are meant for nothing. There is already a budget for transition, and it has already been catered for. Now, where is this money coming from? What are you using it for? You are actually doing no project. Now, for Christ's sake, we understand that the government is a continuum. Yes, it is, whether you like it or not. It's a continuum, but you cannot drag us into debt. Now, what children of Nigeria we are owing? That is to see how far we've gone into this debt thing, and we seem to be comfortable with it. I think we should channel our energy from all these political matters and channel them more into the more reasonable issues like this debt profile growing like clouds over us every day. See, I am afraid that one day a country might just come out and say, you are owing us so amount. We want this part of your country. We just hope that doesn't happen. We just hope that, because it cannot happen. We just hope it doesn't happen. But if something like that comes up tomorrow, Nigerians will arise, and those figures will be held responsible, so not go scot-free. They should just take note and end all these gimmicks. It is annoying. It is annoying, and it should end now.
All right, on the final note now, because our time is fast spent, let's talk about the People's Democratic Party and the wave of suspensions and the counter-suspensions going on there. And the Damagum-led interim leadership has reversed the suspension of former Ekiti State Governor Ayodele Fayose, Ayim and Shema, and also reversed the governor of the outgoing governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom's referral to the disciplinary committee. Amidst all this, do you think the PDP can really come back from this? Because it's going to be, it's definitely going to be another 4 years out of power at the executive level for PDP. Do you really think the PDP can come back from this?
For the past two terms of President Muhammadu Buhari, I have never seen a weak opposition as PDP. They are so weak, and like a pack of cards that you just push one and they will just come crumbling down. Personally, I feel the stakeholders of the party feel this is the time for re-strategizing. This time you can come back, whether you like it or not. PDP is like a scattered house, a madhouse actually, that everyone is not okay. But I feel that the necessary figure here to come back, because Fayose made a statement recently. He said, things need to happen for us to rebuild our party. Now, for a fact that the national chairman of the PDP, the major opposition, should I call them the major? They are the major, they came second in the election. They are the major opposition. The major opposition lost his police unit, lost his state, and lost his state. Oh Christ, what message do you want to pass on to us that you've actually worked to actualize the presidential dream of Bola Ahmed Tinubu? What message can you pass to us? There is nothing you can say. It is all glaring.
A section of the PDP media has even accused him of anti-party activity.
Basically, that's why he was suspended. And recently, those ward escorts who was suspended him, they have been suspended too for peace to reign. I understand, but if those guys are not reinstated, then I understand the whole political drama. Then I understand that there are so much going on in the PDP house that the public eye cannot meet.
All right, now there's so much going on in the PDP house that the public eyes cannot meet, and that was the parting shot of our very own Joshua Imarayi on the program today. Quite a lot that needs to be said this morning, but our time is fast spent, and this is where we'll draw the curtain on this week's episode of your favorite newspaper program, The Press, reaching you live from the Abuja studios of KAFTAN TV. And just before we leave, I'd like to leave you with this piece. Do well to take necessary precautions as we go about our weekends. If you're drinking, do not drive. If you're driving, make sure you do not drink for safety measures. From here in Abuja, my name remains Francis Adeniyi. Do well to have a beautiful weekend.